So a while ago, in order to feed my hobbies, I decided to start scrapping copper and aluminum, copper wire mostly, and I got sick of using a razor blade to strip the wire. And what I strip usually is Romex wire, as you can see here, house wire, solid. And I saw some videos on YouTube of wire stripping machines, some different ones, which the easiest ones were and the most efficient ones were used for stripping Romex, which, worked out nicely because of the fact that that's what I usually strip. So what I have here, there were some different designs on YouTube. Some of them were a bit more difficult. There was one with rollers from a treadmill and a motor, and one with some car parts and pulleys and stuff, and I didn't have access, or I didn't really want to take the time to find those things if there was a better way to do it. And here's my, I think, better way. What I have here, and these parts are easy to find. What I have here is, this top one is the core from a microwave motor. If you've ever taken apart a microwave, there's a big fan up top, double-sided fan, and this is the core from that. And what's nice about these motor cores, is that they have bearings already put on them. I can't remember what it's called when they stick them on. They have little grooves on the inside rod, and then these bearings are pressure fitted onto there. And then the bottom one here is from, I think, a dishwasher. A core from the motor of a dishwasher, and that one also has bearings, which down there you can see those bearings are a bit bigger. And since that one was wider, I had to add some bearings to this top one, just to the sides. Alright, and sorry for all the sniffling, it's spring and I have pretty bad allergies, so what I did here was I cut out these two pieces of wood first and drilled holes the size of bearings right there, the size of the bearings, and made sure that there was also a center hole just the size of this. So the bearing holes just are only as deep as one of the bearings. So there's 3 here, the third one is in the wood, and then the last hole, the middle hole, goes all the way through the size of the rod that already goes through the center of the core. Now the bottom one did the same thing, but made a bit of a slot, as you can see, so that it had to be able to move up and down for different sizes. I've yet to find or make a way for this to be adjusted, really. Currently, the gap right there wasn't quite tight enough to pinch the Romex wire and split it. So what I did was I just got some wire and I shoved it, let's see if you can see, I shoved it right underneath the bearing right there in order to just kind of, lift this up and make that gap a bit smaller, and I did that on both sides, and that actually works pretty well. And it's at a size where generally the Romex wire, I believe it's, I want to say standard is 12 gauge, but I get wire sizes that vary. So the thinner stuff will kind of split through this, and then the thicker stuff is a really tight fit. So it'll be nice once I get a way to adjust this. One way I was thinking is having hose clamps, the bigger ones, and making this top one able to move, or even just having this top one able to move instead, and putting the hose clamps on these bearings, because this middle part has to be able to spin, but the bearings are what stay still. So having hose clamps on these 2 bearings strapped down to the board that this is on, and then that way I would be able to tighten that just with a screwdriver and adjust it for different gauge wires. And then one problem I was having was that the wire was slipping from side to side, since these cores aren't that wide. And the way I fixed that, this is just PVC that I heated up with a heat gun and cut and drilled a hole in on both sides, as you can see, and that acts as a guide to kind of keep the wire in the middle of these cores when it goes through to split it. And then this is just a standard hand drill that I have set up, and as you can see, it spins that top one. And I'll go ahead and show you real quick one problem I have. Like I said earlier, to get this started, it's a tight fit, as I said. So when you pull the trigger for the drill and it starts going, you kind of have to use your hand and push that in to get it first pinched. Then you can pull the drill and it'll go there, and you kind of have to line that up to get it so that it'll go through that hole. And then you can just let it run. And as you can see here, this is a thinner wire, smaller gauge, so it doesn't quite split it all the way. But generally with the lengths I'm working at, it doesn't need to split all the way. I can just grab the end of that right there and pull it through, and since it's been pinched, it's really easy. It's really easy to just pull that through. Sometimes if that end isn't big enough for me to grab, I'll grab my pliers right there to help me pull it through. But also, if it is too long to pull through, it is split there enough that if you grabbed it and pulled them apart, it would split all the way down, since it's already, you can see maybe, let's see here, maybe, oh, over there, how it's kind of split all the way, you know, like it'll be, where is it, there, and it'll be, it's kind of hard to see in the video, but there's a score all the way through where it's been pinched, so it's weaker there, and that way, because of that, it'll split if you do attempt to pull them apart. So you can just pull this through. Alright, and here I've put in some slightly thicker gauge wire. This is just a short piece, and I'll show you guys what happens here. As you can see, sometimes with this thicker stuff I do have to pull it through, or don't have to, but just to kind of assist it, because it'll sometimes just kind of spin in place. And you can see with that one, this is probably the gap right there is probably slightly too small to be doing this thick, like ideally, but it works pretty dang well. This is much nicer to strip just because, let's see if I can get it, see there, it'll just come right off. So yeah, once I get around to coming up with an idea to make this more adjustable, or if you guys have an idea, let me know in the comments, but this is what I have so far, and it works pretty well, and I thought maybe it would help maybe some other hobbyists feed their hobbies. Personally, I enjoy building stuff and taking stuff apart, so scrapping wire, you know, is a decent way for me to make money and pay for my different creations and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know if you have any ideas for adjusting that, and I hope that this video was helpful for you guys.